Hey everybody, this is Matthew with Voices of Texas, and you're listening to Geek Stuff Off the Cuff with Jared and Tony. And when you're done listening to these guys, give my podcast a listen. At Voices of Texas, I find the most interesting Texans to interview each week. Thanks for listening.
Got a special guest with us today. Jerry, I'm gonna take a guess at your last name. Is it pronounced Milani?
Correct. Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Well done, you. You guys aren't in radio for nothing.
1 out of every 10. That's good statistics for me. So, Jerry is part of Wizard World, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start out this entire conversation by saying that when I was a wee lad, I was a massive fan of the books, of the Wizard books. And the one thing, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Daryl, about this the other day. The one thing, I've never unfortunately been able to go to a Wizard World, but the one thing that I always remember about Wizard is after you open up the bag, it always had that really unique smell. Is that smell going to be at Wizard World Indianapolis?
That's only if you bring it along from one of the old bags.
You gotta take it out of mint.
If you've saved any of the bags, yeah, there you go.
Well, I've opened up all of mine. I kind of missed the book. Jerry, whatever happened to the books?
Well, the changing publishing world from, again, that publication was started in the early 90s and was really the only way you could follow things that were happening in comics and entertainment, and it was created by Gareb Shamus, who later kind of took that love of pop culture and moved it to the realm of the Wizard World shows, which began in Chicago in 1998, and then followed a couple of years later by our show in Philadelphia. Now, those two shows are still going strong. They're now under kind of more of a Wizard World Comic-Con brand, and the shows have developed from being the kinds of shows that were really more for the followers of Wizard magazine and comics to a more pop culture, broader base. It still has all those great comic artists and the fans who really love comics still love the shows. That's still all there and enhanced, but now we have this whole pop culture celebration that's a part of the shows.
Outstanding. Well, if you're listening and you don't know about Wizard World, just real quick, it's going to be here February 13th, 14th, and 15th. If you don't know what February 14th is, it's one of the most magical days of the year because it's the day that you get to take your significant other with you. And
to Wizard World.
To Wizard World, hey. Exactly. What brought those dates? Because obviously February 14th is a big day for a lot of people. Was there something specific? Were you shooting for February 14th in that weekend, or was it just pretty much, hey, this is what works, this is what we're going to roll with?
Yeah, well, our schedule is a busy one. We have 24 shows spread throughout the first 11 months of the year. So we were just in New Orleans this past weekend. We go to Portland next weekend. We have 3 shows in a row in February. We're in Madison, Indianapolis, then Cleveland. So when we put our schedule together, I mean, the first consideration is it a city that makes sense for us? Is there a base of fans there that we feel would be interested in a show like this? Is there a show like this that we feel like, there's still room in the market for us? So we felt that on those first 2, you have to have those before anything. And once we felt that was the case, then we can move forward. And then it's where does it fit on our schedule, on our calendar? Obviously, it has to be a week that we're either, free, obviously, or not across the country the week before to be able to move all of our stuff and be ready to go for the following week. And then also, how does it fit on the calendar for the Comic-Cons as a whole? So obviously, if there's another show that's very popular that another company does, and there's some great shows out there that other people do, we want to be not up against that, or they don't want to be up. We want to make sure that it's on different. You don't schedule the NCAA championship wasn't scheduled the same night as the Packers played or the Colts played on Sunday. They played Monday, so you're going to have a different schedule based on on what the landscape of the pop culture conventions are. And then lastly, and also very important, is what's available on the convention center calendar. Like, what are dates that work? So you find dates that fit all those criteria. And, look, we had an event last year and it was on Halloween. So we were able to kind of adapt that and have some fun with that. And here, February 14th, we may be able to have some fun with that and do some Valentine's themed thing. But again, the schedule, it wasn't like, oh, we have to be on Valentine's Day. It's kind of like, it's Valentine's Day. Can we still have a great show? And of course we can. We'll enhance the experience for lovers everywhere.
Perfect. Nothing says love like going to convention together as a group. I love it. It's perfect. Well, I mean, I'm thrilled that you guys are coming to town. Just like Jared, I've never had the opportunity to go to a Wizard World Con, but I know that they're everywhere. Here in Indianapolis, we've had an influx of shows over the last few years, which I think is great. Some people believe that we're getting to the saturation point, and to those people, I simply say, shut up, because there can never be too many conventions and fun stuff. And I know the big thing I love about checking out you guys and what I see at the Wizard World convention lineups across the nation is that you tend to draw a lot of creators and celebrities that other people can't. One of my favorite all-time human beings of all time, Mr. William Shatner, is going to be joining us here, which I'm thrilled about. I know Bruce Campbell hangs out with you guys a lot. Is that something that you guys specifically targeted to find people that just other people just aren't good enough for? Or tell me.
No, it has nothing to do with being good enough or whatever. I mean, we feel like we put on the best shows, of course, and now we do the most shows. But that's not to say that other shows aren't tremendous in their own way and people can find the niche for whatever they want. We feel now that, celebrities come to our show and they know that it's a fandom that will appreciate them. They know they're going to get the professional Wizard World treatment. So, I mean, our mantra is give them a good show. And when we say give them a good show, we're saying give the fans a good show. That's number one. Give the celebrities a good show. Give them an experience that they know when they come to a Wizard World show that they're going to be handled properly, that their schedule is going to be as their schedule is. There's not going to be random things that, interfere with what's going to make it efficient for them, whether they're all 3 days or just 2 days or even just 1 day. Celebrities have come to know over the past few years in particular that this is we feel like the most professionally run show there is. And so when you see the kinds of celebrities that are at this event, William Shatner comes to many of our events. He's probably at every other event or every, at least 2 out of every 5 events. Michael Rooker comes to almost every event. Jason David Frank is at every event. And then you start filling in people who have come to a few shows. They try a show out. They see what we're like. They see what it's like. And all of a sudden they've popped up on 9 other schedules throughout the year. So Michael Kudlitz had never been to a show before. He did one, and now he's going to hopefully be a regular for us. James Marsters is a regular who goes to all the shows. So I think it's more, there's a comfort factor for celebrities. They know, hey, this is going to be a good show. People are going to come. People are going to be interested. And they're going to know that they're going to get the right treatment from our celebrities, from our fans, from our staff that makes it a great experience for them as well.
That's good. I think that's definitely a high point to make sure that everybody, because a lot of times you think about conventions and you think about the thousands and tens of thousands of people that come to the door, and it's like they're not the only human beings at this show. Everybody's here to, it's like you don't go to a zoo and throw things at the animals, and I'm certainly not comparing the celebrities to animals, but you want to make sure that everybody is treated with that same level of respect that we all deserve.
And that goes for artists and vendors and everyone who's at the show.
Sure.
People from the building staff who work the show, like, you'll see when you come to our event, if you've been to some of the other events there, and I haven't, so I don't know, what the level is of that. But you'll see this is a professionally run outfit. Last year we did 16 shows across the country. This year we're doing 24.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone from 8 to 16 to 24, tripled in 3 years.
It's phenomenal.
And you can only do that if you're going to have the support of celebrities who want to come back to shows over and over again, and for fans who want to come back year over year. This year we started, we have 10 new shows. So there's only 2 shows that we did last year that we couldn't fit on the schedule this year. And so we added 10, so that's where the net addition of 8 is. And so Indianapolis is it's a second new show of the year. We started with New Orleans. We've been there 5 years. We're going to be in Portland next week. We've done that 3 years. Madison, Wisconsin is our next show after that, and it's our first trip to Madison, so we're excited about that. And then Indianapolis and Cleveland. So we actually have 3 first-year shows back to back to back, which is pretty fun.
No pressure.
We're
No pressure.
We're going to learn a lot. Well, last year we had some cities like Tulsa and Sacramento, and they were just tremendous. The first-year show that people embraced from the second we announced the show. Tulsa, we announced a year before we had the show, and the response from fans and from press and from everyone was this tremendous, we can't wait to see you guys. And then we get to the show, and it was beyond all our expectations. And Sacramento was the same way. Those are 2 shows that we sold out before the show even started, which is tremendous. In Indianapolis, we've had some of that same feel from fans. Like you said, you'd never had a chance to go to a Wizard World show, and while we've been in Chicago and we've kind of danced all around the area, St. Louis, and we've done a lot of Midwest shows. Columbus, we haven't hit Indianapolis. We've been trying for a couple of years too, and finally it worked out. So we're ready and excited to be out there.
Now, I know Anthony Montgomery is from Indiana, and I'm sure that there's a couple other guys here that are from the state. Are you guys planning on doing anything with them as kind of like a, hey, welcome back home type of a thing? Or if not, there's an idea for you right there.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Completely free, no charge.
Well, what's neat sometimes there is a local connection that a celebrity or an artist has to that area that just adds to their enjoyment of coming back, first of all. So, I mean, Anthony, maybe if he had his pick of shows, which if Anthony wants to come to a show, he just tells us which one he wants to come to. A guy like that, we'd want to have, at any show he wanted to, looks on the schedule and goes, that would be a good one to do. And we're that enhances his experience. And I think fans that have followed his career, and you follow someone who's from your area, whether it's in the sports world or in the entertainment world or politics, whatever it is, if someone's from your area, you have a special affinity for that person as well. So we hope that fans will want to come out and fans are smart. They recognize that, they know that. And, I think if someone comes by and says, hey, I remember, that you're from here, that'll be something that fans will enjoy. I know last year trying to think of a couple of examples of where we did that. James Hong is from Minneapolis. He's one of those actors who's been in 500 different things, but he actually was born in Minneapolis. He says he's from the little Chinese section of Minneapolis, the little Chinatown in Minneapolis. And he went back there, and he hadn't been back in 6 or 7 years. And, just the experience of for him going back to Minneapolis, and he was a graduate of University of Minnesota, was a great experience for him. And we certainly knew that when that went on the schedule. So we hope that that'll be something that Anthony enjoys, and that fans can partake in that as well.
I think on the business end, there might be a benefit too, because now instead of paying for a hotel for Anthony, he just stays with mom and dad, and it's all good.
You never know. I'll talk to our travel team about that. Yeah.
There you go.
Did we get something set up for Anthony? No, he said he's staying with mom and dad.
He's good. He's
all
good
right,
to go.
all right.
Well, sometimes too we'll have situations where they'll have relatives in the area, and Michael Rooker seems to have relatives in every area, either him or his wife. I mean, Michael is he's from Alabama. So when we had a show in Georgia, he was, kind of going back and forth, but we were in Chicago and he had relatives there, or maybe his wife is from there. So there are times where the celebrities will utilize being in that market for us to be able to see people that they know, which is a great benefit for everybody.
I can see Michael Rooker he seems like one of those guys that probably just has friends everywhere he goes. I mean, I've met him at a couple different shows, and there's been a few shows here that I've been a vendor at that I've been able to kind of connect with him a little bit more on a non-fan level. But I mean, in my mind, we're like BFFs. But I'm sure everywhere he goes, he's got people that want to know of him, and they're like, hey, Michael, this, that. I mean, he just seems like a cool guy, and I think people gravitate to that too, which is really cool. So.
And I think you get the sense that that he makes people feel that way. Some people just have that gift.
Yeah.
You can't fake that. You can't that's a genuine when you meet him, he's interested in meeting you. You'll see at his table, he's one that his line takes a little longer to get through because he takes a little bit more time with each person who comes up, and he makes them feel like they're the most important person he's met that day. And he's a special guest for us and a special person. So we're excited that he's going to be in Indianapolis. He comes to almost every show, and we love that.
That's great. Yeah, I'll never forget the very first time that I met him. I was actually a vendor at a show here in Indy. It was maybe 4 years ago, and he was there with Norman Reedus when they first started doing Walking Dead, and he and Norman were actually on Sunday coming around to our vendor tables, seeing what we had, and like talking to us like real human beings. And it was like, this is cool. This is what it's supposed to be all about. And I think the fans, getting back to what we talked about previously, the fans definitely appreciate that extra time. And I'd wait in a line an extra 30 minutes if it meant I get a few more minutes with somebody who cares about me as a person, instead of here's my money, here's my autograph, next type of thing. So
but here's the thing about Wizard World shows is you really don't, like, the people who might have been what they do, they don't do that well at our shows. Like, I think that fans appreciate that the celebrities that come to our event, they want to be there and they're good with fans. The ones who aren't, whoever that may have been in the past, they don't come back.
Sure.
Like, they don't have a great experience. And look, for celebrities, this is an experience for them, being with fans and getting an opportunity to hear what fans have said about their work, or to learn more about those the lives that have been touched. We were in New Orleans this past weekend, and there's a young man who has cancer. He's 17. He's on his 17th birthday, he found out that he has cancer, and he's been going for treatments, blood cancer. He's been going to treatments every week, and kind of the thing that's been kind of keeping him going is his love of The Walking Dead. And so every Sunday night, like, that's appointment, like, don't bother him for that hour. That's what's keeping him going. And so there's a local charity that had caught on to this. One of the football players in New Orleans had caught on to this for his foundation and called us and said, hey, can we do a meet with some of the Walking Dead people? And we did it. And it was, it was an experience like no other. Here's a kid who, lives through watching these folks every Sunday night, and then gets to meet John Bernthal and Michael Rooker and Sarah Wayne Callies and Scott Wilson and Andrew J. West. And these guys put this extra time in. We took them backstage and just, made this kid feel like $1 million. And it was a real touching story. And this is that's an extreme example, but just, you'll see fans just go up on the regular line and just tell a story about how, their character touched them in some special way. And I think that is a big reason why this is important for celebrities as well. Because, like you said, celebrities they're people too. And they appreciate when a fan has a good, touching story.
Sure. Yeah, no, I love it. I think anything that a convention can do to kind of make those things happen not only is great for them, obviously, and is great for the fans, but it helps separate them from the quote-unquote average convention where, you go, you buy things, you get signatures, you go home. I would love to see, a lot of conventions who do unique things like that, or who do, celebrity trivia challenges, where you've got a celebrity and fans on a team together, and playing pop culture trivia. Anything like that I think you can do to kind of break the mold, I think is a great idea. So yeah, we're again really looking forward to having you guys in town, and definitely seeing what you guys can bring to the table, because I know you're doing it well already, and we're looking forward to seeing it. So,
Jerry, for those at home or in their car or in the bathroom or wherever they're listening to this at,
all of the above,
yeah, probably. What can you give everybody like the Cliff Notes version of who you are? You've done a great job telling people about Wizard World and what's coming here to Indianapolis, but we don't know too much about who you are and how you got involved in the whole process. Those that don't know, we're on a Skype call, and we're actually doing a video chat so we can see Jerry and we can see pictures in the background. I see a Spider-Man sign back there, and we see I think some other Wizard World stuff framed up.
Yeah, we have some photos. What we do at every show is we have posters that are out and about that signify all the different celebrities at the show, and someone goes around and gets all the signatures. So we have a collection going back. I've been with the company more than 5 years, and so we have a collection going back at least that far with those posters. Just kind of remind us of what certain shows were and who was at certain shows, and it's kind of a nice reminder for us. But yeah, I mean, my job is public relations, so I handle all the press and publicity, and a lot of times that's interacting directly with fans with questions and things like that, which which is great. But basically, it's spreading the word, letting folks know that we have this event, that it's something they might not understand what it is. You hear Comic-Con, and if you've never heard of it before, you think, oh, that's just a comic book show. I don't like that. But sometimes you hear, oh, William Shatner's coming. Well, where is he going? Oh, the Comic-Con. Okay, great. I'll go to that. It comes, and we have to work the other way to, we're trying to expand the audience of people who would like our show. The example I like to use all the time is that if someone's a big Lou Ferrigno fan and they want to come to our show to meet Lou, you come in our show and everything is all in the same place. Mm-hmm. You walk in and there's not like a separate room somewhere where the celebrities are, and you can only go in there if you pay a fee or whatever. It's all part of your admission. You walk in, and on your way, you see Lou's in the back with the autograph area in the big room. But on your way walking there, you're going to run into somebody dressed as the Hulk that you'd never seen that interpretation before, or some artwork that one of our really talented Artist Alley artists have created of Hulk, or some merchandise at one of the vendors or exhibitors. So there's you're immersed in everything pop culture at our show, and my job is to let people know, whether it's coming on shows like this and letting audience of a certain fandom, or just working with local papers, local newspapers, local magazines, local TV stations in the markets to let people know, hey, this show is coming, and even if you think maybe it's not for you, give it a try, because I think there's a lot of things about the show that would appeal to everyone.
Jerry, are you a comic book fan?
I'm actually not. I'm actually more of a sports fan.
All right, Tony, you can take over.
Just kind of fallen into, but again, I mean, entertainment, sports is entertainment, comics is entertainment,
Yeah.
TV and movies are entertainment. So obviously, I've enjoyed pop culture for as long as there's been. It just happened to be more in the sports realm. But for me, it's exciting to get to meet some of these celebrities who have been in things that I've seen for years, and some that I don't know, and I get to meet new people as well. So it's a pretty good gig.
Is there one meeting? Is there one celebrity, and it doesn't have to be a movie star or a TV star, it could be a writer or artist or anything, that's just stood out that you kind of were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm talking to you right now? Have you ever had that moment in the 5 years?
I think my biggest one is, I'm of a certain age, so growing up, I saw the reruns of Batman when they were on. Mm-hmm. And to me, to walk up and have Adam West say, "Hi, Jerry," is something pretty crazy for me, because that goes back to as early as I can remember watching TV. I would watch Batman.
Yeah.
When I was 7, when I was 6, I watched Batman. So I don't think that I could have even imagined that one day Batman would say, "Hi, Jerry." That he would know who the hell I am. And then you meet somebody like that. You're always afraid, and you guys know this, being in the media and being in press and getting to meet celebrities and sports stars. Sometimes they don't match. You almost, you shouldn't want to. You may not want to meet them. They don't match your thought of when that guy would be cool or whatever. And I've met someone like Henry Winkler, and can you imagine he's cooler than the Fonz? Henry Winkler himself is actually cooler than the Fonz, and that Adam West is as nice a guy as he was on the show. He's at least as nice as that. It's refreshing to find that that there are people like that. And you always worry, oh my God, what's that one going to be like? And then you find out that, again, it's because of the way these shows are. Someone who's kind of not like that this kind of show doesn't work for them. If you're not good with people and you're not good with fans really on a one-to-one basis, this isn't the kind of show for you. So I've rarely had to run into that. And when we do, we just kind of, find another good solid celebrity to fit in that realm, and we move forward.
They kind of fall into that that Rooker effect where you guys were talking about earlier about, he on screen, he can be rough and gruff, and he's that guy that you just don't want to mess with. But then when you meet him, he's just like, "Hey, buddy, tell me more about what's going on with you, and I want to know, more about what's going on with you." And that. Like what you were saying, Jerry, that kind of boggles my mind that celebrities they can still be like that. They can still have that Adam West ishness of, Jerry, it's great to see you. Do you want me to record a voicemail for you? Because that would probably be my first question. As soon as he said, "Hi, Jerry," I'd be like, "Here's my
Jerry,
phone. Can you record that for me?"
Old chum can't come to the phone right now.
That would be exceptional. That'd be absolutely exceptional. Tony is a massive Back to the Future fan.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like the DeLorean is actually going to be there at Wizard World in 2015. Anything else you're doing with Back to the Future, with it being the year 2015, all the tie-ins with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Lloyd has been at some of our shows. He was at one last year and one a couple years earlier, and I know he's going to be a busy guy this year with the 30th anniversary and with all that. But I think it's part of our it's one of those pop culture phenomenon that if that the fandom for that show seems to never die, and you're hearing a lot now about being in the sports realm. Oh, they said the Cubs would win the World Series that year, so everyone's like, well, the Cubs won the World Series, and the movie said they're going to win the World Series. So it's something that we hope that if Chris is available for a show, that we have him. That having the car there, it's at a lot of our shows. It's a replica, of course, but they're affiliated with the Fox Foundation.
Right.
So all the funds that go that are raised through having the car there, and people paying to a donation to sit in the car, all go back to the Fox Foundation. So it's a husband-wife couple that have actually taken the car to all 50 states. That car is driven in all 50 states. It's probably the best replica you're going to see. Like, it's got everything down to the pieces that you've seen in the movie. It'd be hard to press to go, oh, but they don't have that. I mean, this is a really sharp, really good one. It's an actual DeLorean, and there's a big interest, and they actually have a nice background. And when you take a picture, it's got the clock tower in the back. It's really sharp. It's really neat and something for people to see.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. I don't want Jared's making me sound a little weird that the most exciting thing is the inanimate object, not the actual people. But no, I'm excited for that.
I think it's okay to be excited about the car. It's a staple in society. When you say DeLorean, the first thing you think of is the Back to the Future car.
You're right.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
You're right. But with that, to bounce from the DeLorean to the bigger guest list, because I don't think we've touched. I mean, we've touched on a few bigger names that are going to be there.
Yep.
What I think I'm most impressed with, looking over the guest list of artists and creators and celebrities, is the wide range of the different types of pop culture people you have. I mean, we're talking all the way from Carol Spinney, who has done the original voice of Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch since Sesame Street started back in the 60s, all the way up to the Bella Twins, WWE divas, and everybody in between. I mean, if you can go from Sesame Street to wrestling and get everything in between for good measure, you're doing okay. I mean, is that something that you guys target, Jerry, is kind of looking at the different venues and the different avenues of entertainment and seeing who you can bring in?
Yes, absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Most of the celebrities, if you look at them, have a sci-fi connection or comics connection as the basis of the kinds of fandom that we have. But remember, William Shatner is Star Trek, but he's 100 other things in the pop culture world. I mean, T.J. Hooker and Boston Legal, and he's he's everything that embodies the world of pop culture. So he's the Priceline negotiator. Like that's as big as pop culture gets.
He's your only guest that I think at home I have an encyclopedia dedicated just to him. I have the Encyclopedia Shatnerica. Yes, it's a real book. It exists.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
And he does a lot of shows for us. And what's neat is that he's he does his Q&As, and they're fascinating. It's like going to a one-man show, and getting kind of that bonus as well. And yeah, I mean, Michael Rooker, Henry, and some Walking Dead, obviously, and Guardians, but he's been in 50 other things as well. 8 Men Out. He played the first baseman in 8 Men Out, which it took me like 3 or 4 times meeting him to remember. I looked at his table one time and I go, "Oh my God, you're Chick Gandil!" And he's a big proponent. He loved that movie as well. We did something with the 20th anniversary a couple years back of that too. So just the fun, that whole realm of pop culture all through. It's fun for people because they may know somebody from one thing and someone else knows them from another. Lou Ferrigno, of course, the Hulk, but the King of Queens propelled him into a whole new fandom 20 years later.
Yeah.
25 years later, the people, know that. We mentioned Adam West. He's not coming to this show, but Adam West was Batman, and we know him from that. But there's a whole generation that only knows him as Mayor Adam West from Family Guy. And whether you know who Adam West was, it's still funny. It's a little bit funnier for us having known that he was in Batman, but just people know him as that. And James Marsters is in Buffy, but he also guest stars in 100 other things. So you're right. There's a wide breadth of different fandoms that can enjoy a show like ours, and we hope that that continues. That fans recognize these guys and gals for one thing or another, and want to see them for different shows.
My wife is a huge Buffy fan, and when she saw James was coming again, she's all about it. She's like, I've got to meet him this time. We've got to go, and I've got to meet him. And I'd love to kind of pick his brain on the musical side of things, because he's got a band and he's a phenomenal musician. He's just one of those guys that kind of just taps into all different aspects of the entertainment world. So it'd be great to just kind of pick his brain about, why he chose certain roles and why he does what he does, and everything in between. But he and we were talking about this before the recording started, but Jason David Frank, I know that he goes to a lot of cons, but I'm like, yeah, all right.
Well, a few things with Jason. First of all, I mentioned he's been to just about every show the last 3 years. I mean, he hasn't missed shows. He's doing a bunch of things, doing a million things. Currently he's filming a reality show that he does called My Morphin Life, and we are going to be announcing. Well, we've announced, but we'll have the reveal of it shortly, and the actual debut. A network called Con TV.
Oh, wow.
Which is a over-the-top network, so it'll be on Roku, and it'll be on your Google Stick, and it'll be on Apple TV, and on your computer, and anywhere digital. It'll be a regular digital TV network, just like you select any of the digital networks, all geared toward con fandom. So it's we'll have a show with Jason David Frank that he's going to actually take that show that he's been doing through I think Machinima and online and YouTube, and now it's going to be a regular feature on our network. Bruce Campbell's going to have a game show that he does that we're filming at every event that he comes to, that'll be on there, called Last Fan Standing. Very fun. We filmed some in New Orleans. We're filming again next week in Portland. But Jason is one of those guys that when you talk to someone like at the local TV station, when you want to have a guest on, and they go, I don't know. And then let me send you a video from the last show that he did. And they go, I got to have that guy on. So sometimes people, they didn't know what the Power Rangers were, or they didn't know what it was. It was a big phenomenon, but they may have kind of missed it. It may not have been in their realm. And then they meet Jason, and he's this outgoing, say anything, do anything guy. So in addition to him, kind of having that and being part of Con TV, he's a guy he's another one that takes a little extra time. And when I say to people, he's pretty much going to have the longest lines for 3 days at the show. People go, really? And then they come to the show and they go, what are all these people waiting for? And then he comes out, and he's the one. He takes extra time.
Yeah.
He videos the fans and includes them in his shows, and he's very social media savvy. He's 2 or 3, 4 hours every day interacting with fans on social media. So look, that makes sense. People want to come in, they want to meet this guy, and he's tremendous. We love him.
Outstanding.
Very cool. Very cool.
Outstanding. Well, we're coming up to the end of the official show. Jerry, is there anything else that you kind of want to throw out there? Let people know that that we didn't get a chance to talk about anything special. Any secret things that you want to drop right now that's never been dropped before, aside from the Con TV? Con TV sounds amazing. Anything else you want to throw out there?
Yeah, no, only that I think fans, if you've tried an anime show or another kind of show locally, our show has all that in it, but it also has these other kind of elements to it. And if you're listening to your program, I think that this is the perfect fandom for someone who understands what our kind of show would be. And I think would be something that you'd really enjoy. Just go to wizardworld.com, click on Indianapolis, look at what we've got going. And hopefully it's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. You'll likely see Jared and I there. I know that Jared might be there the entire weekend. I have
won't leave at all, probably.
My 4-year-old daughter, of course, was born on Valentine's Day, so that knocks me out of a good chunk of this weekend. But we're going to try hard to get out there on Sunday to check it out. But I mean, it looks like a phenomenal show. Indianapolis is. I know we're excited and ready for you guys. So here's hoping that everything goes really well for you. We're pulling for you.
I appreciate that, guys, and I appreciate you taking time having me on today, and looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Very
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Once again, everybody, February 13th, 14th, and 15th, downtown at the Indianapolis Convention Center, Wizard World Comic-Con Indianapolis. Check out the website for all the times, details, tickets, everything else. Jerry, thanks again, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Tony.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to do it like my boy William Shatner. Ready?
All right.
Pichu.
Oh, my gosh.